with me, Gabriel Mwako. We're at Invictus Tennis Academy Tennis Court inside Ghana to give you an exclusive interview with the CEO. Stay tuned right here. Don't go anywhere. After the commercial break, we'll speak to the CEO of Invictus Tennis Academy. This is Ghana Tennis TV with me, Gabriel Mwako. I welcome everybody back to Ghana Tennis TV with me, Gabriel Amwako, and I have here with me Invictus Tennis Academy CEO, that's Mr. Isaac Tomegah, to tell us a bit about himself and also about the Invictus Tennis Academy, what it's all about. Stay tuned right here on Ghana Tennis TV. Welcome, Mr. Isaac Tomegah.
Thank you, Gabriel. How are you?
I'm good. When you talk of Mr. Isaac Tomegah, who is he?
I am basically, if I want to start from the point of profession, I'm a qualified accountant and I worked as an accountant for many years. But then in terms of tennis, I have 3 kids, Agassi, Nyanye, and Sisu, who all play tennis. So that is what I am in terms of tennis. Basically, I'm interested in tennis, and because my kids play, I am constantly involved with tennis at that level. I've also done a little bit more beyond that by sponsoring some few other players in Ghana. Some time ago, Ghana's #1, George Dakon, and his junior brother, Kwabena Ofosu-Boafo, were the people I supported in the past.
Yeah. So, why Invictus Tennis Academy in the first place?
Basically, because I already have about 3 players in my family, plus a young man who is a friend's son, we already have a team, 2 girls, 2 boys. So then, because we have a team, we thought that, and then the next thing we needed to look for are coaches, and we got some great coaches already, as you can see behind us. So then that is how come an academy. The idea is that to have them play tennis full time.
Okay.
To practice and play full time. That's why we're calling it academy. So as you can see behind, it's morning already, and they are here working. So that is why we're calling it an academy. It's just a small beginning, as you can see now. We expect to grow it in the future and let it be something more bigger than we see now.
I know your love for tennis and for sports is big, but why tennis but not any other sports?
Good. Tennis, because first of all, I follow several other sports. As a Ghanaian, we all follow football. I also follow Formula 1. I follow what do you call the other one? Boxing. And then tennis. Okay. So why tennis? Tennis because when I was started for me as a young person, when my father used to go and do washing for Justice Kingsley, the late Justice Kingsley. His house was just behind the Accra Lawn Court, tennis court. So when we were young, we used to accompany our father to his residence, and on our way, you normally see people playing, wearing their nice white shirts. So that was the beginning for me for tennis. Then when I started having children, I was concerned about kids staying in their room playing computer games or getting glued to the computer, to the television. They don't go out. So I asked myself, how do I get my children out to go and have fun? So obviously the first idea is football. But in football, I didn't like the idea that I need that time your kids return from football, they have a little injury here and there. So I said, okay, what sport can I let them do and they wouldn't have injuries? Gentleman's game. So I said, okay, let's do tennis. But now, as I said the other day to you, I've come to realize that even in tennis, you do get injuries as well. So it's not like tennis is injury-free. So that's how come tennis and not any other sport.
So what's your source of motivation? Because, pushing all your 3 children into the game and still continue sponsoring people, what's your source of motivation?
Okay, pushing all 3 children into the game is simply because you can't treat children differently in the house, whether male or female. So I can't say, you go do this, you go do that. It's a matter of, so once the 2 elderly children started playing tennis, the rest will just follow if they like. It's a matter of when they So that's how come all three. So that's the angle from when you ask me pushing the children to it. But the motivation itself is that, like I said, you want to have the kids to get out of the house to do something, activity, instead of, okay. And then number two, we've come to realize that it's a sport that is that can be rewarding.
Yeah,
that can
very
be
rewarding.
rewarding. And finally, when you look at Ghana, it's not as popular as boxing and football. So it's like a niche, a small area that one can see quick development if we put our resources behind. So these are the motivation. So it is the children having an outdoor activity, and then it is the fact that it's rewarding. We know of the income that people can generate from tennis, and also the fact that Ghana doesn't pay a lot of attention to it. So I believe that if we went to that area, we can develop and make a name for ourselves.
Okay, as a parent, guardian, how do you feel seeing your three children all into the game of tennis?
I'm very, very, very happy. Very happy that they are all in the
And
game.
they have loved the game.
Yes, yes. You see, at a point I asked myself, is it they liking it or they just found themselves in it? But when we speak in the house about it, it's clear that it is their passion now. They love it themselves. So all of them are here this morning. Nobody forced them to come here. It is their routine, and they are here. So yes, so that is the reason why we are all doing tennis. And look, the senior girl, Nyanyui Grace Tomegah, did very well recently in Lithuania.
Yeah, Lithuania.
She was part of the Ghana team that played the first, what we call the
Women's World Cup.
Women's World Cup in
Billie
tennis.
Jean Cup.
Billie Jean Cup.
Okay.
She was a member of the team. She went to Lithuania. She was the only person who won matches in that tournament.
Yeah.
And again, by so doing, she is the first Ghanaian woman to have won a tennis match at the world level for Ghana.
Yes.
Okay. So these facts, and also the senior brother is also doing well among the boys. He's constantly around the top 16 ranking, and he plays those tournaments. So that we like that.
You've forgotten the junior one.
The smallest one is actually, like you know, in almost every family, the youngest turn out to be the brightest. So we know her records already. She went to she represented Ghana in Benin and Morocco, and particularly in Benin, she did very well. Her results qualified Ghana to play, assisted significantly in qualifying Ghana to go into Morocco and all that. So those are the things that are making me happy about their performance.
Okay, so as a father, how do you balance their education with the game of tennis or with the sports?
It's a very tough one. It's a very tough one. If you want your children to play tennis at the professional level, then it is likely they cannot go to school like normal children.
Yes.
So it is a trade-off we are having in our family, in that we know that if we are not going to be able to do full-time school, so we're not going to develop and be lawyers and be accountants and doctors. What we are looking for is to emphasize the tennis, because it's almost impossible to do full-time schooling and tennis professionally.
Yes.
So that is a challenge we're having at the moment.
So what advice would you give to some parents out there who also love the game of tennis and also wants to take their children into it, but they are finding it difficult to decide for themselves? What advice would you give them?
The advice is that, number one, as I just said, you cannot expect your child to play professional tennis and do school full-time. So as a parent, you should know what you are entering into. You should know that it's not going to, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So what we're looking to do is to have online school or distance school for the kids. So they do schooling at the end of the day, and then they play tennis during the day. So and the schooling is mainly online. So that will be the advice I give to children in terms of the education side. I also advise parents to be very, very patient. Very patient with kids, because we have made a mistake of initially placing very high expectations on the children, and that puts a lot of pressure on them in tournaments. So I advise parents that if they get their children to play tennis, they should be very patient with them. They should allow them to develop naturally and give them the space to work with.
Okay. Are you going to now that all the three are into it, and other children also, you are sponsoring other children, are you one day going to pick up, management course to be their manager, or you still be the parent or the guardian that we all used to know?
Currently, I am the parent manager, so I'm still doing the management. Now, I do not intend to take a management course to be their manager. What I would look forward to is, as they grow and as their needs expand, we will look to either engage somebody to do the management, whereas we stay at the back as parents, or we would try to develop one of the coaches to be a manager coach for them. As you know, we currently have the best coach in Ghana, Coach Albert. In fact, we can say he's in West Africa. He's one of there are just two of them who have that level of qualification in coaching. So we have him. We also have a Raymond over there who is
world experienced
Davis Cup player, and so we already have a very solid team. All we need is some little management, which I'm doing now. But as like I said, if the team grows and we become our needs, our traveling requirements becomes enlarged, we will then look to employ the services of an expert.
Okay. In the next 5 years, what do you stand to achieve for yourself and for the children?
In the next 5 years, we're looking to, for myself, not much. It's mainly for the children, but I would look for myself. I would hope that we can develop this place further. You know, we still have space to put up one court here. There is there's a plot of land, or there are lands.
That's for you.
Yes, that's for me. Yeah. I'll look to develop at least 6 more courts in addition to these 2, in order that we can bring things like ITF tournaments on the premises.
Okay.
So for myself, the next 5 years, that's what I'll be looking into. So it will start with putting up offices and change rooms, facilities here, and then we will expand to build more courts. But for the children, yes, we expect that the senior ones will move into world rankings. I mean, between 100 to 500, they should be there easily, or even better still, into the top hundreds. The first 2 girls, and then the second girl, he would also be quite old by then, about 20 years, 19-year-old by then. She should also be looking into those, knocking the doors of the senior tour, WTA and ATP for the boys.
After her return from Lithuania, as a father, that you watch and you follow the matches keenly on social media, seeing the results coming in. As a father, how did you feel? And when she returned, how was it for you?
Fantastic. No, first of all, we give all the glory to God, because in Lithuania, she performed very well. Like I said, she was the only person who won matches. Who won two matches for Ghana in Lithuania, and this is not our doing. It is by the grace of God. So that was the feeling. The feeling in our house is to give glory to God. We were happy about it, and then we started feeling that our year has come. We have come, and so that was the feeling in the house. We pray that God will continue to guide us as a team to move in the right path and achieve more for ourselves and for Ghana.
Okay, let me ask this question. She has got there. 2022. Are we going to expect her on a tour with Agassi? Because most of the times, my research tells me that Agassi goes often than her. I'm now going to expect her also going to tours, just like Agassi.
Yes. In 2022, all my players will do a lot of matches will be on the tour. Okay. This year she hasn't gone simply because she was trying to do some corrections about her game. So 2022 starts when the year starts, the tennis year starts, she would be on the tour with Agassi. And the junior sister too, as well as Said El Mamu, they would be doing the junior tours. And Nyanyue and Grace and Agassi, who is Nyanyue also, will be doing the futures on the tour, yes.
I'm with the last child of Mr. Tomegah, and that's Sisu. Tomegah. Sisu, how did it start for you with the game of tennis?
So I started by following my siblings to the courts when I was very little, around 3 years old, and watching them every day play was really intriguing to me because I was like, what are they doing with the racket? What are they doing with the ball? So as I started growing more, I began to pick rackets, pick balls, and run around, follow them, and basically just fool around on the court.
When did you actually felt that, hey, this is my profession and I want to do this?
Okay, I felt that when I was, I think I would say 12, 12, 13 or 11, because that's when I started watching tennis seriously. Because when I was younger, I was watching tennis, but I didn't really understand what was going on. So I started taking tennis really, really serious when I was around 11, 12, or 13. And yeah, that's when I started knowing that tennis is what I want to do when I grow up. So yeah, that's when it got serious.
In the next 5 years, no, let's say 6 years. By 6 years, you'll be 18 or 19 years.
20.
20 years. Where do you want to see yourself, or what you expect from Sisu Tomegah?
Okay, I want to see myself playing junior Grand Slam. No, in fact, 20 is not junior Grand Slam. I want to see myself playing Grand Slams, 80, WTAs, and just being at the top at my peak where I really, really want to be. Yeah.
So that's Sisu Tomegah giving us what she wants to do in the next 6 years. We all hope that she gets that so that she can put the name of Ghana high. Year under review, how would you, rate Ghana tennis in terms of performance sake?
I should say Ghana tennis is now, we are seeing a lot more excitement, a lot of more activity in Ghana tennis. In the past, let's just say in the past 18 to 24 months,
Yeah.
especially this year, we having a lot of tournaments, but most of them are for men, boys and men. We are not seeing enough in terms of the girls. We hosted how many about? We hosted 5. Is it 6? 6 ITF junior tournaments in Ghana, isn't it? Two in April and 4 in June, July, thereabout.
August.
Yes. That is very good, and I understand that was
Tennis
done.
Foundation Ghana.
That was brought about that was influenced or brought into the country by Roger Crawford and his Tennis Foundation Ghana, and that is commendable. We need more of that because there are 52 weeks in a year, so we should have more than 8 weeks of 6 weeks of tennis,
of
ITFs, and maybe. The next important one is the pro circuit, which is what we call the futures. We should be able to bring those also on board. So that's another area that I would be happy if the Ghana Tennis Federation will look into and bring on into the country, because they need to help our players, because that is how players in other countries develop. When a tournament is organized in their country, they get advantages, like they're already there, they don't need to travel. Then they also do get maybe wild cards,
to play.
And then through that they get the points to begin to launch them. So we need more of such competitions in Ghana as well, to launch our players, to give them the opportunity on the world stage.
Okay. In January to March, Tennis Foundation Ghana organize 5 Ladies Challenger Series, and it will continue. But do you think various foundations are also doing enough to help the federation to succeed or to get to where Ghana tennis everybody expect to be?
Okay. I don't know what other foundations are doing, but I know a lot about what Tennis Foundation is doing, because their tournaments tend to involve my players. Okay, because I know clubs, associations, like the Accra Lawn Tennis Club.
Yeah.
They also have tournaments.
Yeah, the GTO,
which is about, yes. So in respect of that, I can say the Ghana Accra Lawn Tennis Club is doing very well. Tennis Foundation is doing very well. I read news about other clubs individually organizing tournaments, but I see most of their tournaments are for their members and seniors who entertain themselves. That is fine, but I'm looking for more of the clubs organizing for the professional players and then the juniors. That is what will be the future. That is what will give the Ghana tennis the right future. So yes, if you ask whether other foundations are doing more, I'll say not enough. The answer is not enough. The clubs, foundations can do a bit more. Even tennis foundation can do more, because what they did in March, where with the ladies tournament, was brilliant. Ladies Challenger Series was brilliant, but why can't they do it? Why can't they do it every 6 months or something?
6 months, okay.
So if they had organized another one in maybe from September, it would be great. So that would be my expectation.
Okay. A lot of players, most of the time, they look up to people like you for advices and the rest. What advice do you give to upcoming players or players who are into the game of tennis? What advice should you give them so that they don't give up their profession? Because most of them wants to give up their profession as tennis players.
Okay. The advice is they know, because they are in, they know the problems of the game. It's mainly financing for them. So the advice I'll give them is for them to approach people who can sponsor them, because what they need is money to buy their equipment, the rackets, the shoes, the clothing, money to travel to tournaments, and there are many people in Ghana who can help them. But again, most of the people are not very much aware of the cost involved in doing these things. So I'll use this medium to advise a lot of Ghanaian businessmen, people who can help to open their doors to these young men and girls. When they come to them, they can support them. On average, if you pick on a player, a professional player, and you want to help him in a year, it will cost you about $20,000. If most of the very business people in Ghana now would adopt just one player each for $20,000 for a year, Ghana tennis, it will help the boys. But then coming back to the players themselves, I will advise them also to be disciplined. You cannot be dropping your level from one game to the other. You have to stay consistent with their training regimes. It is difficult, but they have to. And when it comes to matches, they have to be very strong in their head, because tennis is played, I think for me, 50% in the head. The rest, the tactical aspect, the fitness aspect, the technical aspect, for me, I'll give the other 50% to that. The other 50% is the mind. They should plan in their head, they should be strong in their head, they should be consistent in their head, they should be disciplined in their head, and then they'll make progress.
Okay. In 2022, what do you expect from the federation? Because there will be Fed Cup, there will be Davis Cup, which players will be selected. But what do you expect from the federation in 2022?
Okay. I do not exactly know the inside workings of the federation, but as an outsider, I would expect the federation to actively fight for the national budget for tennis, because it is clear that if they had more money, they would do a bit more. So they should really sit down, develop a plan to motivate the government, to motivate the National Sports Council to give them a bit more than they are getting now. In addition, they should actively look for sponsorship. I'm using the word actively because they do it. They do have some sponsorships, but it's not enough. So I expect the federation to sit down, involve some people who can help them. I can also help them draw a plan, use it to approach organizations and individuals to get more money to supplement what government will give them, in order that they can implement or organize tournaments and support tennis play. For example, Togo, the young children who came from Togo to play ITF, they were sponsored by the Togolese Federation. Our players went to Togo individually, on their own.
Some were sponsored by Amwaku Boafo.
Yes, Amwaku Boafo supported most of the guys who went to Togo were supported by Amwaku. But for him, what will happen?
Yeah.
Some of these boys go to Togo, they cross the border by their own, no letter, nothing supporting. They even went as far as Benin.
Benin, yeah.
Whereas our sisters federation in Togo, a small country like that, they organized their players, they brought them on board, they put them in accommodation, they provided them food feeding.
It's true, I witnessed that.
So Ghana Federation can also do that. Ghana Federation should start doing that.
Yes.
Okay. So those are my expectations from them. They should fight for national budget, they should look for sponsorship, and they should support junior players at least if they're going for tournament. That's my expectations of them. This is not to say that I think I know their problems. I don't know their problems. I'm only saying that this is what I see as an outsider who is interested in tennis.
Okay, let's just have a look at the court. It looks very new. Are we going to expect something in 2022, a competition for juniors?
Certainly. What we did here was to, it was difficult finding courts in Ghana to practice. My players used to practice a lot at Aviation Social Center, but this cost us about 1,000 Ghana cedis a month over there.
Okay.
And then the stadium too is available, but then they have to go very early in the morning and leave by 9 o'clock because members will come in. All the places that we visited, we had to either pay money or give way to members. That's why we set up, we decided to build this place for ourselves. So this is exclusively for ourselves, for our 4 players, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 2 coaches, 1, 2.
It looks very, very new.
Yes, so yes, we would be bringing competitions here. We would look to, I would organize I would like to bring the ranking tournament here. I would also like to bring something we call the round robin invitational. But then the players will be grouped into how do you call it? Groups.
Yeah.
So that the idea is to get players to play at least 3 matches before they are eliminated. This a direct series of taking people out. When you lose, winner takes it all. We need to move away from it and organize our tournament in a manner, I understand it's called a UTM formula, in a manner that when we select people, we put them in groups of 4 or groups of 6 and they play. If there were 30 players, they put them in groups of 5 or groups of 6, they play, and then the first 2 qualify to quarterfinals, and that way each player gets a lot of matches before the tournament ends. So those are the things we'll be organizing on this court.
All right.
In 2022, like you said.
Whoa. So that's it for today. He has given us a lot and shared a lot to us too, and he has also given a lot of advice to the federation. I am Gabriel Mwako, and I'm with Mr. Isaac Tomegah, the CEO of Invictus Tennis Academy. Nice meeting you, sir.
Thank you, Gabriel.
And thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you.